for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, and 78 farmers across the country are expected to pick awards in various categories as the country marks National Farmers Day today. Now, this year's celebration is on the theme, Transform Ghana, Invest in Agriculture. Albert Torre joins us live from the region with more on how the celebration has been thus far. Albert, if you can hear me, tell us much more about the situation in Bolgatanga now. Has the president already arrived?
Well, my understanding is that the president and his vice will not be joining the celebration today, apparently because of bad weather constraints. They were not able to fly in. And so the Agri Minister, Fifi Kwesi, together with Dr. Hannah Bisu and Sherry Aite, also Mark Woyongo, the Interior Minister is here. Mustafa Ahmed is also here, together with the Upper East Regional Minister and his deputy. They are currently seated. A while ago, the opening prayer was said, the chairman was introduced. What is happening now is the chairman's acceptance speech. The indication I'm getting is that Fifi Kwesi, the Agri Minister, may be delivering the keynote address. So at the moment, the president and his vice are not here.
Many thanks for that update, Albert Sorry, and we can now join the feed live from Bolgatanga in the Upper East region.
Did you show your love to the Paramount Chief? Did you do that? We're in his territory. You get visa before you enter this place. You don't clap well. One more time, let's appreciate him, please. I want now to recognize Pognaba Veronica Abugrago, Boku Paramount Queen Mother. Pognaba Asindin Chenge Christiana, Bongo Paramount Queen Mother. It's also here. Pognaba Alisa Yamga, Paramount Queen Mother of Naga. Mankazia Anyeka, Afagachi, Paramount Queen Mother, Nakong Ta. Kape, Abagedi, Zangyo, Paramount Queen Mother, Katiu. Pognaba Joanna Asibinab Zabulag, Paramount Queen Mother, Tongo TA. They are here with us to grace the occasion, and we say thank you for giving us this royal presence. We arrived in Bolga late last week and were warmly received by the regional minister and his deputy, who ensured full participation in the week-long program, beginning with the Agri Development Bank-sponsored National Farmers Forum on Monday, where the winners were led by experts to discuss the benefits of local raw material production to industry, modern agriculture, a tool for economic transformation, financing agriculture for economic transformation, and sustainable fish value chain development, the role of aquaculture. Under the distinguished chairmanship of Honorable James Zuga Tiga, Regional Minister, who now gives us a welcome address. Honorable Zuga Tiga, Regional Minister. Thank you.
Yazawabi Yazari. Yeti Yazawabi Yazari. Mpumu Yazawabi Yazari. Thank you very much. Naba Chairman, Your Excellency, Member of Council of State of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Minister and MP for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Members of Parliament present, Honorable Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, Chief Directors and other officials.
And that was a live feed from Bolgatanga, where this year's celebration of Farmers' Day is currently being organized. And that feed was brought to you by courtesy of the state broadcaster GTV. We'll bring you much more on this subsequently. But away from that, now, despite the pride associated with cocoa farming in other countries, cocoa farmers in Samreboy and its environs in the Wassa Amenfi West District of the Western Region say they have regretted entering into farming due to poor roads. Now, farmers in the area find it difficult to transport their products to the market centers, thereby leaving hundreds of cocoa bags to go waste. Joy News' Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters visited the area and shared his experience.
Screw's journey from Samreboy to Pristia Nkwanta was full of uncertainties. It was a Wednesday and a market day at Mumuni Camp, where cocoa farmers from Samreboy come to sell their wares. Unfortunately, it is now normal for traders to spend the night in the middle of nowhere because the vehicle broke down on the deplorable stretch. The new screw finally reached Mumuni Camp, but the driver could not go any further. The rest of the communities have now been declared a no-go zone. Residents are totally cut off, and the only transport options are motorcycles, tractors, or walking. It costs as much as 50 to 100 Ghana cedis on motorbikes, while tractors charge 10 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa. The rates are too exorbitant for most cocoa farmers. We came across this little girl who seems very ill and was being taken to the hospital by her brother on a motorbike.
Vehicles do not ply this road. If you don't buy a motorbike, transportation becomes very difficult.
The news team and the rest of the farmers had no option than to join an Okada to continue the rest of the journey to Pristia Nkwanta. There were several bags of cocoa and other farm products abandoned on the road. About 500,000 bags of cocoa were produced in this area last year. Alhaji Isa Seidu, an affected farmer, described cocoa farming as a cursed business.
Chief Executive Officer, DC.
The authorities are aware of our plight here.
He, however, called on governments to either address their plights or risk losing their votes in the district election slated for December 15. Meanwhile, Joy News caught up with the district chief executive for Wassa Amenfi West, Samuel Victor Miesu, who hinted that the road has been awarded on contract and the contractor expected to commence work soon.
It's unfortunate that it has coincided with the incoming by-election, but it has been given to him and he's still on it. He has started from Pristia Nkwanta. But looking at the nature as we are just discussing, because of the torrent rainfall.
Let's stay with this year's Farmers' Day celebration, and only 72% of loans disbursed to farmers under the block farming scheme have been repaid. Now, the situation is said to be affecting other farmers in the Ashanti region in their quest to access the facility. Now, this was disclosed by the Director of Agriculture for the Asokore-Mampong Municipal Assembly, Philip Ejay, at this year's Farmers' Day celebration in the Ashanti region. Correspondent Ohim Interior joins us with more. So, if you can hear me, tell us how bad the situation is according to the Director of Agric for the municipality.
Yes, I saw from the Director of Agric, Philip Ejay, and he revealed that because of the defaultment in payment, it has affected other farmers, and the effect is that the Ashanti region has been blacklisted in this particular credit facility, or in this particular program, which seeks to provide credit facility to farmers in the region. He says that for Ashanti region to continue benefiting from the program, at least it must ensure a 70% repayment. But in the situation is a bit different. I must say it's a bit it's better in Asokore-Mampong Municipal Assembly compared to other areas. That means that farmers who receive farm inputs such as fertilizers and insecticides and weedicides and seeds, for instance, have failed to pay the inputs that they receive from the Agri Ministry as part of the block farming. So Mr. Ejay appealed to farmers elsewhere to ensure that the Ashanti region continue to benefit from the program they must make everything possible to pay for these credit facilities that they receive from the Agric Ministry.
That's quite interesting. But again, let's talk about the celebration itself. I mean, how has it been so far, and what's the general mood in town?
Yes, in the Ashanti region, I must say that people are aware that indeed today is a Farmers' Day, where I participated at the Asokoyemampo Municipal Assembly celebrations. The program was well attended. The space, there was no even space. The place was filled to capacity as 29 farmers were rewarded, and including 92-year-old couple who received special awards for their contribution to agriculture in the Asokoyemampo municipal. So I must say the program is well attended, but the Asokoyemampo municipal chief executive Nuri Hamidan appealed to organizers of the Farmers' Day activity to at least make amends to the requirements for which somebody will be appointed or nominated for the position, because he says that Asokoyemampo is the least as far as land distribution is concerned. When you look at the distribution of land, the size of land that they have for farming activities is very small, though it's the second most populous area in Ashanti region after Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. So I must say the program went well. But the other thing that I also noticed is that the kind of prize awards, the rewards that the farmers receive, some of the participants were complaining that he thought that maybe they were going to receive bigger rewards than what were awarded them at the ceremony.
Many thanks for that update. Ohemente, you are joining us live from the Ashanti region. We're taking a break here on News Today. We'll bring you a lot more stories when we return shortly. Thank you for staying with us here on News Today. Now, if you drive in Ghana, chances are that you will not be impressed by much of the road infrastructure in the country. Now, for the people in the Ghana East municipality in the Greater Accra region, however, the issue is not just about the bad nature of the roads, but also the seeming inability of the authorities to complete vital road projects. Kofi Ochumesa visited the municipality and filed this report.
One of the biggest developmental challenges facing the Ghana East districts are the bad roads. The Taifa Atomic Runabout Road, Kwabenya Brekusu and the Hacho Ekomok Road are in bad state and have not been rehabilitated for about 5 years. Successive governments have failed to continue what previous government started. For instance, the Taifa Atomic Runabout was started by late President Mills but is yet to be completed. The Kwabenya Brekusu, which was started by Kufuor administration in 2004, is also unfinished. These roads are bumpy and erosion has washed away portions of the road. Some taxi drivers who spoke to Joy News said the poor nature of the road has become their financial burden. According to the drivers, they spend over 100 Ghana cedis every week to maintain their vehicles.
Maintaining our cars due to the bad nature of the road is indescribable. We usually develop flat tires. We can spend about 120 cedis to maintain our cars.
120, yeah, that is 1.2. You can spend about that. Every week we do maintenance for our car because of the bad road. Always when you go, because of the potholes, you have to wait for another car to pass before you also pass. So it's difficult for us for here. Every week I spend 100 Ghana for the maintenance. So it's killing us. So if they can come and help us to do the road for us, it will be better for us.
We are suffering because our cars break down often. Some passengers even refuse to sit in our cars because it's always dirty. Every week, I spend about 150 cedis to maintain it.
1.5 a week. A week in the scam to say
The bad nature of the roads is not only affecting motorists, residents are also exposed to health hazards.
For those of us who stay along the road, we are struggling because of the dust. Most of the time, we fall sick because of the dust. We are appealing to government to complete the road.
The dusty nature of the road is exposing us to several diseases, including cold. The drivers are forced to use the pedestrian walkway. Our dresses always get dirty.
Meanwhile, the hope of getting the roads constructed hangs in the balance, as the Ga East Municipal Chief Executive, John Kwao Saki, could not give the date the roads will be constructed. He tells Joy News why a number of roads are yet to be completed.
Once it is in the hands of competent engineers, I can assure you that we need a road. I, as a politician, need a road more. So when I say very soon as everything is done, we can have the road done. In the case of the Taifa and atomic roundabout to Taifa, you know, the idea was to have a road as wide as it can go, you know, but then the design that was given, you know, did not talk about that. We did a very big culvert, you know, so the work was going on, but they advised that it should work within a certain specification.
Now, a toddler was on Wednesday killed in the community of Suhume at Adina in the Volta region over salt. Now, this was during a riot by the residents against Bay's Water Industries Limited, which they accused of taking over their salt mining concession. My colleague Sarah Mablade Souza spoke to an eyewitness.
I have this young man here with me. Initially, the people I've been speaking with only confirmed the fact that they have residents. They have residents who are in the hospital, people who sustained gunshot wounds and all. But this young man has a different account. He saw something, and I'd like him to share what he saw with us. Madaku achode lafia fiangwa joye nelia inkandako.
Madaku oyo number wisdom kosi gayode. Nyabra kafa gro number odowo. Hikaba assemblement no nyuta. Nyahama gro no bo na yodo ma nyima gafa tagbaru na ma fa yo nya fugata nyima fafago. Aka ale ajua netiama va ma mava ko police bro chu ono chwada comme yo milam au no chwada milam kama yo chwa lologa allo ko nyanya nkuma hima kwanya ba achulo momene kamara ka ya ode alimani maraka oda bo mafine maraka oba otunwa afine afi chukpa galo figojine komi kokko ira koji ko ba manya ogota o kokko ira abo kakamara kala o kokko ira ge ko magloba. After that, mi jo ko hojo. Inye va jo nyebo va le no vinyere kala kpoji ka ba yaro ko chofam. Agba ko va li. Akoko dwe. Ta yo li ko jo. Ko ma jojo ma. Ro ko mi ga li vu ko. E ko ba o ga va plus soja o. Nya ta fa na tu o. Ma la fa ma a cho su mi ma pa ja ko fa la figoji. Soja ko police va le sku ma chu da vo de visu su le sku kpoji. O le kpoji a chwata ka Ekata kudamule. Kan ye va jonye ba maga trova tagba ko. O va figoji. Fie pa ma million ba gabo.
That side.
Fima ko jeri ma jejen la ko. Fima million ba gabo.
Okay.
Alaba ayova inkevajo. Ayova ko la jujira moji ko de visuere dada ko dara gagba mako e ko chochu aroji ko de.
About the two
the visué hikaba romahi rokotata ta revia dada ko dara gagba mo. Ta revia da zoredi akọ revia ko pre chuafa riri ko revia da singma cover rokuema ta ngma ayiji twema alaba amayuma mia fa assembly vava ko va ira yevu afa saita alaba sato kata va fufura fi macho no anyama juru kakanyima akpo anyafa anwufo
devia. Oh goodness. Now wisdom here is saying, among everything he said, is that a child was also shot during Wednesday's riots here. Makawe the tour.
Soja with the tour. Si bantela police we twa dama fi mi la twa mo ya ka twa lo mo yi ka mo ku ya police we no twa dama fi.
Ka devia de.
Devia ya soja wi. Ta nya nyang popo ti mu ama popo ni afa sama domu ala ba aba sa toina manya fie u ba na va u dolori ta mayo ka do ba no va de twamia mi je mi o jin ba mi anya
Wisdom is saying that a child was shot on Wednesday here, according to him, by the military. He says that the child was just in a basin, and they shot at the child, and he died.
I would dashing Malaka Coco.
Okay.
I got she got them a cuckoo. I would decor could a jawala coco.
Well, a sad story. They will bring you that full package on subsequent bulletins, particularly on the Pulse, which airs at 3 p.m. Now, government has reiterated its desire to improving access to quality education in the 3 northern regions of the country. Performance of students in these regions has generally been poor, with many attributing it to child labor. Now, the latest to add to the cause is the Upper West Regional Minister, Amidu Suleimani, who believes the decision by parents to use their wards on farms at the expense of their education is the reason for the poor performance of students in the basic education certificate examination over the past few years. Here's Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
The USAID Ghana Partnership for Education project is part of an integrated project designed to support child literacy improvement activities by the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service and other affiliates. The project seeks to strengthen and support the Ghana Education Service human and institutional capacity development in the areas of pedagogical excellence in early grade reading in local language and English. As part of the project, a one-day reading festival to encourage and stimulate children's interest in reading was held in Wa in the Upper West region. Upper West Regional Minister Amidu Suleimani, in a speech read on his behalf by the Wa Municipal Chief Executive Issa Kunuhu Putia, expressed worry about the performance of candidates in the basic certificate examination.
It has been realized that one of the for poor BEC performance is child labor. Children who are engaged in child labor do not only have low esteem, but also have less time to study, thereby affecting their academic performance drastically. I therefore wish to seize this opportunity to appeal to parents and guardians as well as chiefs who are seated here to desist from the practice and assure that their wards will concentrate on their studies, since it is the only surest legacy that any parent can bequeath his child. The pass rate in the region was about 28%. If you come to the municipality too, it's not anything better.
The Wa East District placed first among 11 districts in the region with a pass rate of 48%, which in itself is not good enough. Chief Party USAID Partnership for Education, Dr. Gutel Nikolu, threw more light on the $71 million project.
And it is designed in such a way that we are, again, the training that we're doing, these reading festivals that really stimulate the interest in reading for children. We're going to be doing a variety of different activities throughout the country over the 5 years. We'll be helping to make the difference in terms of these children's scores. Every school that we go to, that we have touched, we want to see children able to read in their local language and in English. We want to see better scores on the exams that measure their ability to read.
Now, inadequate and delayed budgetary allocation to the health sector is literally killing people in the northern parts of the country. Now, that's according to reports by the NGO Send Ghana, which says the situation is particularly contributing to the high rate of maternal and child mortality in the 3 northern regions of the country. Hanodame has more.
No mother carries a baby for 9 months with an expectation to lose the child. Neither does she expect to lose her life in the process of delivery. Unfortunately, this occurs each day in homes and healthcare facilities across the country. The Send Ghana report, launched on Thursday, reveals how the country is doing well in some aspects, but can do better compared to other countries with same resources.
Nigeria is doing around 560 deaths per 100,000 live births. Sierra Leone is doing about 1,100 per 100,000 live births. So if you look at it in this context, then you can say that the story is not all bleak. But again, I would want to also compare Ghana to its contemporaries in Latin America, countries like Paraguay. They're doing 18 per 100,000 lives.
Launching the report, a lecturer at the University of Ghana's Department of Public Health, Dr. Gordon Abekanyama, said much of the funds allocated to the health sector goes into salaries instead of service delivery.
Now, if you look at the 2016 budget proposal and the allocation that is given to the health sector for what you call procurement of what goods and services, it is not even enough to procure the vaccines that are needed. So if, assuming they decide to use that money for vaccines, forget about reproductive health. Because for me, I remember when my baby was born, the first thing that was done by the British government was to say congratulations to my wife and to give her £500 for bringing forth what? A state asset.
The report, titled Making Safe Motherhood a Reality, the issue of financing, highlights areas where inadequate distribution of resources has sent many mothers and their children to early graves. The National Health Insurance Scheme, introduced in 2005, made antenatal care and delivery services free. The scheme is, however, bedeviled by many problems that make it less effective. For Dr. Kwabena Nyama, who is a member of Parliament's Select Committee on Health, finding an alternative to the National Health Insurance Scheme is the only way to solve the problem.
As we speak, NHI, the last time they paid claims was for the month of April. This is 3rd December. So how do you expect these institutions to be able to survive? The reason is that since 2013, the taxes that we generate for NHS, that is NHIL and Social Security contributions, are not enough to even meet the annual expense of NHI. So we are always building up arrears. They try to call it funding gap. So how can the NHI pay their claims on time? Health insurance money is not enough any longer. We have to get extra financing sources to make sure we'll be able to pay for all the claims.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Well, you're still watching news today here on Joy News Multi TV. Time now for some business right after this break. Government has initiated steps to transform state-owned enterprises by way of the single entity ownership model. Now, the move, which will bring all state-owned enterprises under one controlling body, is a recommendation by the World Bank. Deputy Finance Minister Ato Forson believes the move will help eliminate inefficiencies in these enterprises.
unfortunately, we are seeing a trend where a good number of the SOEs are not giving that return. Indeed, comparing the outturn in terms of return on investment for 2015, I'm seeing 11.7% return on investment. So if it's 11.7% return on investment, the question is, if a private sector is to invest, would the private individual accept 11.7% as a good return or not? I think it's not good enough. I'm seeing a trend where most of the SOEs are facing clear challenge. One, some of them are seeing overstaffing because clearly it's a state company, let me just employ. I think the status quo must change. The Ministry of Finance is working to ensure that we can implement the single entity where we'll be able to at least monitor the financial aspect of the SOEs. It doesn't mean we are taking your corporate governance away from you. But what it does mean is for us to at least have some oversight. Cabinet has approved a single entity. We are working with the AG's department to at least back it by law. And for us to look at the future in such a way that we will use the single entity concept, working close with the World Bank. And Mr. Country Director, thank you for your effort. Working with the World Bank to make sure we can implement the single entity.
Now, Vice Chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, Kwame Jantwa, has reiterated calls for the country to, as a matter of urgency, prioritize adding value to exports. Now, this, according to him, has become imperative, especially given the current trend of falling commodity prices on the world market. Kwame Jantwa, who is also the Executive Director of Peace Petroleum, explains this is a wake-up call for a shift in over-reliance on the export of commodities in their raw states for higher economic returns.
You see, it would always help an economy if you can add value where the return is higher. So for our gold, for instance, if we can add value to our gold where we've done gold bars, when the price goes up, we have the gold bars there. When the price goes down, we hold on to our gold bars. But when we're exporting raw material, how much money do we get out of that? And I expect our oil should be so. Why do I say that? We have to get to a point where we can think of putting refineries up where we add value. Because at the present moment, the downstream industry, where you bring in refined petroleum products, everything is imported. We have Tor, don't we? Let's see how best we can get good refineries in place, not only to refine for Ghanaian consumption, but also to refine for West Africa. Because in the Gulf of Guinea today, every country seems to be exploring and discovering oil and gas. If that is the case, then there's a case for us to put up good refineries. However, the other thing that we need to do and do very well is gas. It looks as if Ghana has a huge potential of gas. And I don't think it's only Ghana. I think Cote d'Ivoire has it, Liberia will have it, Sierra Leone will have it. What are we doing as ECOWAS to make sure that we harmonize all this? To provide electricity, to provide other added value services that gas brings, to create a certain employment for our people. I think gas is strategic. I think solar is also strategic where power is concerned. And we should start looking at that so that in the next 10 to 15 years, we would have power that is sustainable, power that would help us develop. Because all these industries we talk about, without power, forget it.
That'll be all for Business on News today. Time for sports. Time now for entertainment, and here's Miss G with the very latest. Hi, Miss G.
Hi, Chenchehini. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. And you?
You're enjoying your holiday? Working?
Well, we are working.
All right. So the Stars in the Worship is set to come off tomorrow, and of course, Nigerian actor Kalu Ikeguagu has arrived in town. He's here with comedian Aboki. This morning, Soraya Mensah and Kalu passed by, and they tell us more of what to expect at the function.
We're gonna have more comedy. Even Kalu, who didn't do comedy last year, is gonna be doing some comedy this year. You see him calm like that? Trust me,
Yeah.
he's got something inside of him that you can't wait to see. Yes, so more of comedy this time, and then more music as well. And I'm sure we'll have some surprises coming up. Different other acts that are not even out there on the billboards, and we haven't mentioned their names. They're going to be passing through to give us some surprises. You know, people look up to us. You know, you have a star, and someone goes like, "I want to be like her. I want to be like him," and all that. And they assume that we do so many other things to get us where we are, and we're trying to prove them wrong.
All right, so that's the Stars and Worship concert. Soraya Mensah talking more about it. But, you know, Samini's Breaking News album is ready now ahead of the Samini Fest, which is tomorrow as well. He has launched his album called Breaking News. Now, we'll bring you excerpts from the launch at +233 Jasper. All right, so Hini, we hope to see what would happen at the Samini Fest, you know, tomorrow. Right. Sure. And we'll bring you more details on Monday. Right.
Many thanks for that update. That was Miss G bringing us the very latest in entertainment. Proudly brought to you by Airtel. That'll be it for news today. My name is Kwabena Hini Boateng. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Happy Farmers Day.